up, Rob? How you doing tonight, brother? What's up, Pickle?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. The week's almost over. Gonna go check out this really hot pizza spot in Melvindale.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
looks like they got some. So I saw Dave I Portnoy, is that his last name?
Yeah.
Um,
Portnoy.
the Barstool owner. He does pizza reviews, and I
Okay.
saw he did a review. Well, I remember my uncle Don saying that there's this really good pizza spot in Melvindale. So I looked it up and I saw he did a review, and ever since then, like the spot has blown up. So I really got to go try it. They it looks like they have really good New York style and really
Dang.
good just traditional pepperoni,
That
cheese
sounds pretty
pepperoni.
tasty to me. I know you sent the pictures over to me, and they look pretty mouthwatering. Not gonna front.
Yeah, definitely.
It looked
But
amazing.
after Dave Portnoy, he after he reviews it, it's a look out.
Looking out for your review, Rob. You have to tell me how it is, man.
Definitely, definitely.
So this NFL draft is going on, man. Tell me, I've rushed home from work. Tell me what I've missed, man. Tell the viewers what's going on with the NFL draft right now.
Well, as always, you know, Caleb Williams went number one overall. That's not a
Yeah,
surprise.
not
But
surprised at all.
what really surprised me so far is Michael Penix Jr. Has gone number 9 overall to the
Dude,
Atlanta Falcons after they just spent a lot of money on Kirk Cousins. Oh no, yeah, a quarterback who can't even see over his own offensive lineman is going to be throwing the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr. So that's a
yeah, look.
thing.
He said in the group chat, I've read right afterward, Kevin Hart's can be thrown to Marvin Harrison. That is his joke. Laugh. He gets the laugh credit for that. I like that.
Yep, Kevin Hart's going to be throwing to Marvin Harrison Jr. Also, they did analysis that first three quarterbacks. The last time they showed the last time three quarterbacks in a row have been drafted. The last time it was Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson,
Okay.
and Trey Lance, and only
Oof.
one really made it.
Yeah, the hit rate, kind of like
Oh,
Rand City is
the
mentioning.
the pick is in for the Minnesota Vikings,
I
so
think
we
we all
gotta.
know who that might be.
I I if it's JJ McCarthy, all I gotta say is good luck.
We get to continue to root against them, being where living where we live, so we'll take that.
Yeah, definitely. Dude.
I'm just glad my team, the Washington Commanders, didn't take him. Now they didn't take the quarterback that I personally preferred. I wanted Drake May over Jaden Daniels. But they didn't take JJ, so I'm stoked. I'm satisfied about that because I don't
Yeah.
think he'll be successful either.
I don't know, man. I just
It is.
only one of those quarterbacks is actually gonna make it. One.
Well, to Rand City's point here, I mean, when quarterbacks go boom, 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 and to your point that you said, the hit rate's not great, man. You usually get one quarterback a draft that excels, usually two tops. So yeah, I'm not a huge NFL person either, but I like to follow our Ohio State players that make the draft and see where they go. You got the pick for the Vikings?
No, it's about to go. It's about to go right now.
Okay.
They have some family up there. But let's get down to business.
Sure thing, sure thing. Who yeah, just talking about the NFL draft a little bit in general, like there's no Ohio State players that are gonna be taken any in the first round. That it was Marvin and the party for us is kind of over for tonight. So
Yeah, man. I mean, I was reading this article. Oh, they selected JJ McCarthy.
okay.
He's gone. He's off the board. He barely made top 10.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. 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 So I thought Minnesota was picking at 12. Did they move up to 10 to get him or something?
I don't know, but I mean they were at 10, so who knows? But
Okay.
so I saw this article where Ohio State could have shattered records this NFL draft cycle, but it was more about coming back and for unfinished business. So
Same with like same with Michigan. I mean, Michigan's could have shattered it last year. They're going to potentially shatter it this year, and Ohio State's can potentially shatter it next year because so many people
oh,
came back.
whatever record Michigan breaks this year, Ohio State's going to shatter it next year. There's no doubt that that will happen. No
Yeah, I'm
doubt.
with you. I'm with you. There's so many draft eligible players for Ohio State next year that decide to come back. You know, chiefly our main defensive ends, our stalwarts on the edges, Sawyer and Tuliolumalo. And
Sorry, I'm turning this off. It's
it's
distracting.
too distracting
You
for
know,
you.
it's strictly
Okay.
business right now.
Strictly business,
Strictly
Buckeyes battle
business,
cry.
man.
Well, since JJ got drafted, let's talk about him, man. We've talked a little bit about him on past lives that we've had, but now he's in Minnesota. What do you think of the fit? Will he succeed? Won't he succeed?
Honestly, like I haven't seen that much tape from him. I just I don't know. Again, like when he's thrown, it's been inconsistent. Yes, he's talented. Yes, he's a playmaker, but again, like I just haven't seen that much tape from him. So it's 50-50 for me. He could be absolutely brilliant in the NFL, or he could just be just absolutely terrible and not be a good fit for the pros. Now, he does have something going against him.
What's that?
He does have something going against him. He does not have a veteran quarterback to be under a couple years.
Sure.
You know why Jordan Love is so good? Because he got to learn from Aaron. He got to learn from Aaron Rodgers. That's why he stepped into the role just really quick and was extremely successful. That's why
Well,
Aaron Rodgers was so successful. You're drafting these quarterbacks, these high ranked quarterbacks, to teams that organizations that are absolute trash, and they
Caleb
have no
Williams.
one to mentor under. I mean, the only reason why Caleb Williams doesn't succeed is because of the Chicago Bears. I mean, there's no
Right.
reasoning behind it. There's no
Sure.
other reason.
Yeah, Caleb is going to a team that's um you know didn't have faith in Justin Fields apparently because they got a bunch of tools after right after they traded him away. We got some interesting comments going down here too. And Brock Bowers not going top five is atrocious. I don't say you dropped a tight end in top five, but he is an
Yeah.
immense talent.
I mean, wasn't Kyle Pitts like top 5, top 7 tight end like a couple years ago or so? He didn't work out too well. I mean, drafting a tight end that high, that's pretty risky.
It's
But
a
then
risky
again,
move.
it is Brock Bowers. I mean, that dude is just
He's gonna be
I remember that play against Ohio State
yeah,
where he kept himself in bounds and was able to reach
sure,
for that first down. Like what
sure.
a play. Like kudos to him for that.
Yeah.
I didn't like the call because Ohio State could have got the ball back
Hmm.
in
But he
a
fought his
crucial
way through.
moment.
He fought his way through.
Yep.
Thankfully, in that game, Bowers, I think he only had like 50 yards receiving, but he still made critical plays. And the one you mentioned being the foremost of them all. But back to JJ a little bit, and possibly Caleb Williams too. Um, he's so hard to gauge. JJ is because of the limited amount of throws. Yes, he can extend the plays. Yes, he can make some very, very accurate throws at times. But down the stretch, his last 5 games, he averaged 124 yards passing per contest. Um, I will give him credit for the drive against Alabama when they're down 20-13, and he extended or he led them down the field with some critical throws and with all the pressure on him. But out of all the quarterbacks in the draft. That's why he was so polarizing, because the tape just isn't quite there for him. And that's not necessarily his fault. That's what Michigan did. They love the ground and pound, but he was so freaking hard to read and predict and project to the next level because the tape just isn't there. He wasn't relied upon all the time in the heavy moments.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, pretty much like he was. I mean, look at the Alabama game and then look at the Washington game.
Hmm.
He didn't really have to do much, and
No,
except hand the ball off the national championship game. Heck, he didn't have to do much all season except hand the ball off. I mean, he
yeah,
had Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards. I mean, I just didn't see enough. Yes, he's athletic, he's talented. You know, he'll get the job. Maybe it's because he'll get the job done when you need him to. Like if you
sure.
call upon this guy, he will get the win for you.
He was very clutch on third downs. I will give him that credit. When Michigan got in those third and long situations, more often than not, he did deliver for them. And so that's a notch in his cap for him, you know. Um, Going back to Marvin Harrison being the Buckeye podcast that we are, Kevin Hart throwing to him. How do you think he will do? How do me personally? I think he'll do well no matter where he landed, but he's got to stay healthy. What do you think about Marvin Harrison go to the Cardinals?
Well, I'm not too thrilled about who's going to be throwing to him.
No, I
Not,
know.
at all, at
Me
all.
either.
To me, Kyler Murray is a run first quarterback. That's what I saw at Oklahoma, and
Yeah.
it's transitioned into the NFL. I think it was against the Raiders where he ran for 50 yards down at the goal line just to get into the end zone, and
Jesus,
I
Pete.
think I think win it. But the dude can't even see over his offensive line. How is he going to be able to see that Marvin Harrison Jr. is wide open, and he's not very accurate, and he gets injured? Who's isn't Trace McSorley the backup for the Cardinals?
That
Or
sounds
is
right to me. That sounds right.
Yeah, I think So Trace McSorley could have thrown to him. Martin Harrison Jr. may have a DeAndre Hopkins situation where all these
Yeah.
low caliber quarterbacks are
Hmm.
thrown to him throughout his career. But here's the thing though, Marvin Harrison Jr. is just a different breed of wide receivers. He is the complete package. I mean, they talk about Malik Neighbors being the complete package, but to me, Marvin Harrison Jr. is the prize of this
Yeah.
draft.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. He's so complete at the wide receiver position. There's nothing that he doesn't excel at. He's good at blocking. He's good at body control. He's good at high pointing the football. He's got elite speed. He does it all, man. His hands are unbelievable. And
Yeah.
I hope I was hoping, honestly, I was hoping he'd go to LA. I was
Oh
hoping
yeah,
teams would mess
definitely.
up because Herbert's a better quarterback than Murray, in my opinion.
Oh, a way better quarterback. A way better quarterback
Sure.
than Kyler Murray could ever dream of being. Justin Herbert is a just a pure pocket passer who can also extend the play and throw on the run at least
Yeah.
50, 60 yards downfield. So throws the ball on a dime. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've going to going to let's see, where was the who be rookie of the year? I think Marvin Harrison Jr. will be the rookie of the year. Again, like he's a complete wide receiver, and even though Kyler Murray's gonna be throwing to him, yes, he may hold him back, but I just think that he could be one of those wide receivers that it doesn't matter who's throwing to him. He's just gonna be wide open making plays.
That's kind of the point that I was making. He's so elite at everything. Yes, it does matter statistically who's throwing to him. His stats might be a little worse with Murray throwing to him than maybe a Herbert or another quarterback. But he will get his. And now you said rookie of the year or offensive rookie of the year?
I think rookie of the year.
Ooh, calling it out, calling the
Rookie of
shots.
the
So that'd
year,
be back
man.
to back for Ohio State.
I mean, who else has a better chance?
Yeah, I mean the quarterbacks that got drafted high are put in bad situations,
But here's the thing, man.
like you
Only
mentioned.
one only one of those quarterbacks is going to succeed. One. I highly doubt all
Yeah.
three are going to
Oh
succeed. That
yeah.
that is looking back at history, that has never happened. We're all three quarterbacks who have gone. Did you see those names up there? I only
Right.
knew one that went on to have a successful career
Right.
in those draft classes.
Looking back at just the 2021 draft, there's only one quarterback that's still on the original team that got drafted by, and that was just 3 years ago. And of the first round quarterbacks, that's an amazing stat, and we'll probably see the same thing happen again with this year's four quarterbacks drafted in the top 10 as well. I'm fully with you, Rob, on that one. Um, Moving on to the next subject, unless you have something else to say here before we move on. Um, we attended the Ohio State spring game, and that was a fun time. That was a good time. I had 80,000
But
there.
wait, so uh, Pickle Dale boys.
Yeah,
At
pickle.
least you guys got. Didn't you guys get? Was that the draft class where you guys got Sauce Gardner?
Ooh,
I mean, he's one of the best cornerbacks I've
he's
seen
been
in a
filthy.
while. He's yeah
Yeah.
he has all the confidence in the world. Just nasty, like ridiculous. Wait, no, it wasn't. All
Oh,
right.
okay.
Well,
Okay.
I guess it wasn't, but still, like that pick made up for Zach Wilson. That's for sure.
Ooh, Zach Wilson. I was so flabbergasted when he got picked number two overall, dude.
Yeah,
That shocked my socks off, man. It really did.
yeah.
It really
Hey,
did.
guys. Hey, it looks like we got 12 viewers right now. Thank you for showing up. We appreciate it. You like what we have to say. Click that subscribe button. We go live every Thursday 9:15 p.m. But all right,
Yes,
Peter. Let's
sir.
let's
Yes,
get
sir.
down to the hot topics, man.
Yes, sir. The next subject matter, man. The spring games. Michigan had theirs this past Saturday. I had to watch it on delay post work, but I got to watch it through. Attendance was very sparse. Now, it was very cold that day. But first of all, what's your take on the attendance? Like, Ohio State always out attends Michigan on spring game. Is that a big deal or not a big deal?
I don't know, man. I was expecting more in terms of the Michigan attendance coming off a national championship season.
Yeah.
There's a new era in Michigan football, new coaching staff, new quarterback, pretty much almost a whole new offense besides Donovan Edwards, about one offensive lineman that I saw from last season, and you got Colson Loveland. Other
Hmm.
other than that, like I would want to see how this new staff is doing, how the defense looks, and how the quarterback looks. Now, Alex Orgy, he is a run first quarterback. I think that
Without
Warren
question.
Warren looked a lot better in terms of passing, and that's what they need. Also, the defense looked elite, like I thought it would. They are going to be the backbone of Michigan's football team. So, but
Yeah.
in terms of attendance, I don't really. Again, I'm surprised that it was that low coming off a
Right.
national championship season. But then again, it was pretty freaking cold. So,
Yeah, it's humorous for us, and we get to laugh because we basically doubled their attendance, roughly, especially when we charge and it was free for them. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not a huge deal. And it was like 70 and beautiful in Columbus and like 40 and blustery in Ann Arbor. So that makes a difference too for people wanting to come out. Um,
yeah,
to your point about Orgy, man, a lot of fans post spring game, and I was saying this pre spring game, but then they got to see for themselves. A lot of Wolverine fans want to go to the portal for a quarterback, but there's not any good ones left.
yeah.
That's the issue.
I mean, they don't. The guy that could possibly be that's as of right now behind Orgy or could surpass him. He's not bad. He's actually a better passer than Alex Orgy.
Are you talking about
But
Davis Warren, the guy that threw a couple
yeah,
touchdowns? Yeah, no,
Davis Warren.
I would personally prefer him over Orgy. Just if now it's one practice, but he balled out, did he?
Yeah, he did. He threw some good he threw some good touchdown passes. He no lie, he balled out.
He had that deep ball touchdown. I was like, dang, maybe they need to look at him.
Yeah. Definitely,
Oh,
definitely.
Brock to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Interesting move there. Interesting. Wow, the Raiders pick up Brock Bowers. Wow, that's
Yeah.
wild.
But uh but yeah, but the thing that I did not like the
Sure.
difference between Ohio State spring practice
Uh
and
huh.
Michigan spring
Oh, I
practice
know what you can say.
is Michigan was actually tackling
Yeah.
and Ohio State was this two-hand touch. Not even two-hand touch, man. I thought I saw a little, a pinky touch the quarterback and they blew the whistle. Like,
Right. Right.
come on, man. Like, but I mean, obviously, like traditionally, you don't tackle quarterbacks, but they blew
Right.
the whistle early on running backs, wide receivers,
Oh
just
yeah, sure.
when they could have ran more. I mean, even when the defense had an interception,
Yeah. They didn't allow them to return it, especially the last play of the game.
I don't know, man. Did Urban do tackling in the spring games?
Um, I'm trying to remember. I think there were years he did and years that he didn't. So yeah, he shook it up based on experience and talent level on the team. If he needed his players to reach the next level potential, he would have tackling. And in 2015, this last previous spring game that I attended, there wasn't tackling because they opened preseason number one, and they might do that again this year. To be honest, we'll see. Matt and I were talking about this. We've only opened preseason number one in 1998 and 2015, despite top three most of the time. But in both those years, we end up losing to Michigan State. So that's kind of shocking. But yeah, no, I would say Michigan is going to be a defensive led team. That's very clear. They're going to be a ground game again. Although I don't think Donovan Edwards is every down back. He looks like he put on muscle, but he's just not that kind of back. He never has been. And people are trying to say, based off a couple runs in the spring game, oh, wow, he's transformed into a different
He
back.
looks
No,
like
he has
Bob
not.
Marley.
Bob Marley. He's, he's never had good vision. He has good cutting ability that he clearly showed in the national championship game and many other games throughout his career so far. But
But
he
but
does
here's
not
here's
have
the
good
thing though.
vision.
Here's the thing though. What can he do when the hole's not wide enough where a
Right.
F-150 could go through?
Right.
What can
Exactly.
he do past that? I
Yeah.
haven't seen it yet. I
That's
I, I
been the
just
critique.
I have not seen it.
He's not a guy that breaks tackles, is he?
No, he goes down at first contact. That's what I noticed in the TCU game when so Blake Corum was done for the season, and I noticed in the TCU game if this dude he's a home run or nothing dude. He's a
Yeah.
home run or nothing hitter. Like
He's been that his whole
if the
career.
hole's not wide open and he can't get to the second level, like he's not moving the ball much, and that's why they run Mullings more.
Yeah, now Mullins I like a little bit more, but he's not very quick. He's that more of a bulldozer type who can bounce off people and break tackles. I think he's going to be RB1, and they're going to use Edwards in special packages, if you ask me. So, um, let's see. Yeah, no, I fully agree with you on the. Well, I'll say this: people are saying the tackling versus no tackling. That's a cultural thing, and the Ohio State's program is soft, and they just continue to push it and push and push and push this narrative. How do you fight back against that, and how do you take that? Because I don't view the spring game non-tackling as like, oh gosh, we're a soft program, we're soft this way, we're soft that way. You know, how would you respond to that?
I don't know. I would say every team is tough in their own way. Michigan
Mhm.
is this, nitty gritty football team, who likes to do the ground and pound. And Ohio State is, tough through the air. They got the speedy wide receivers. They got this year they have the speedy, shifty running backs that they like to do pass out in the flats.
Yep.
They have really great secondary. But yeah, I mean every team is tough in their own way.
Certainly so, man. And you know, I don't think Ohio State is out to change their identity for anybody. They're not going to show things in the spring game that's not who they are. So Michigan had some injuries in the spring game. Ohio State didn't. So Orgy was limping at the end of the game. He was injured as he was trying to limp into the end zone. And so you take a risk, just like with every practice you're out there, you have a risk to be injured. And so I think Ohio State took the correct approach. Um, I don't know how much hitting's done in the other practices. That's a speculation thing at this point. But um, I know they do practice a lot of tackling. From what I've heard from Ryan Day, that's just he says that maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't
Yeah.
know. But
But let's get down to the real question.
what's the real question, bro?
If Ohio State and Michigan were to play next weekend,
Whoa.
who gets the W? Who gets the dub?
That's so tough to manage at this point, but I think it being in Columbus and um with how many starters we have back and how elite our defense is going to be versus how new and fresh their offense is going to be, this is the first time since 2022, that I'm confident that Ohio State will win the game. Um, 2023, I gave it a 50-50 coin flip because of in the big house, they had the better quarterback and they had the more elite, um, proven defense. I will say. No, Ohio State had a top three defense last year, but everybody's back on this year's defense. So I say Ohio State takes it this year, even if it's a week from now. Um, I think Ohio State proved that they had a little bit of quarterback concerns in our spring game. We talked about that in our wrap up video. The Buckeyes, you know, they it might not be a step up from Common Core to what we got, and we'll see. We'll see how that transpires on the field in 2024. But I would, yeah, Oregon's a huge game, but with Ohio State and Michigan, it's a singular focus.
Man, you can't. You look. I never looked past that game. I saw a
Hmm.
lot of Buckeye fans and 11 Warriors saying it's a layup game. But no, dude, I was praying, reading the Bible that morning of the game, saying, okay, God, like I want them to win this year. But whatever happens after that, so be it. So it's never a guarantee win against your rival. They call the rivalry for a reason.
Yeah,
Both teams show up ready to kick the snot out of each other
right.
and go into the final bell.
It's the most physical game of football played for either team each year. Um, there's so much respect in the game. You can never overlook the rivalry. There's been so many years where the underdog has gotten the win. Um, it's just 2021, for example, 2004. Um, uh, there's been all throughout the 90s, Michigan was the underdog and they got the W. So you never overlook Michigan. Oregon might be the better team this year, but you never overlook the rival.
Yeah. So who do y'all think is starting at QB for OSU? Well, since we're talking about the spring
Yeah.
game, I was not I wasn't that impressed with any of the quarterbacks.
No.
I
No.
mean, I could see the thing is when you're looking at the standard that has been set for Ohio State quarterbacks with JT Barrett, Dwayne Haskins, Justin Fields, CJ Stroud, when they set the standard and you see the just I don't even know who's gonna start. I'm actually really worried of the quarterback and
We
Pickle Dill boys. Julian Sand He
He probably
disappointed. He
he,
really he threw like 4 interceptions, just making bad decisions out there.
he
Like
looked
I
like a
just
true freshman, right?
yeah, he looked like a true freshman. I mean, they said this guy's a phenom. I watched tape. I was like open minded about him possibly being the starting quarterback. He's not ready. He may be sitting
Right.
the bench this
Right.
year. I know I made
Sure.
a video about him starting mid-season, but to me, I look at that now. It was a bit premature. I mean, also he's been on campus for what 2 to 3 months, so who knows?
Right.
He can grow into that role. But as of right now, I'm not impressed with any of the quarterbacks. And in terms of Will Howard, here's what I think happened. Here's what I think happened.
Mm,
I think that you know, Kyle McCord just he plateaued after Wisconsin, and then clearly he was the weak link in the Michigan game.
yeah.
And so
With
we're
the two
like,
pig.
we're like, oh, this dude's coming back. And then just like, okay, into the transfer portal. There's this wave of panic, and they went out and got apparently the next best thing. But
Third best.
I don't think Will Howard is any of a step up from Kyle McCord. I
Here's
don't.
I fully agree based on the practice that we saw that I don't think he's better than McCord. Um, I made this point while we were talking right after the spring game, and I should have made it in the video. But in Justin Fields, when he transferred in for Georgia, he was 4 of 14 with a pick in the spring game, and I was looking at my dad when I was watching the game with him. I was like, "This is the dude that's supposed to be our starting quarterback." But we have to keep in mind is one practice. Will Howard moved the chains. He actually didn't throw any interceptions. So that was good. That gives an advantage. And like one of our commenters said here, experience is huge. He's got 30 some starts under his belt. And if I had to guess, I would say Will Howard. But based on the practice that we saw, that doesn't give me much confidence, bro. I'm not going to
No,
front.
I mean, I would just, you have Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Buka, and Carnell Tate in a
Mm-hmm.
room full of just completely talented wide receivers.
Brandon,
I pray and I hope it is not another year where the quarterback just blows it. I mean,
we'll get back.
I was seeing passes that, you know, Jeremiah Smith was basically shown as like 40 plus vertical, and you're telling me you can't place the ball correctly for him to get
Right.
it? I mean,
Underthrew
come
it so many
on.
times.
I I just don't want to see it again. I just don't. Like I will be tearing my hair out if
Especially
another
with
if
how
another
much talent is
quarterback.
on the team. How much talent's on the team? And it's like, dude, are we gonna have another year where a quarterback is gonna be the scapegoat? And I'm not worried about quarterback moving forward 2025 and beyond, but 2024, I must admit, I'm a little concerned. I'm a little concerned, bro. Um, but to the point I made, it's one practice that we saw. He's got all spring, the rest of spring, all summer, and all fall camp to work. Whoever's going to be the starter. But to your point, not much confidence was instilled in Buckeye Nation by that
No.
one practice we were all able to see. And based on the comments I read from the insiders, um, Devin Brown might have a chance at this, which is shocking. Um, it's kind of wild. He's been in the program the longest, so I guess from that perspective it makes sense. But the undertones of the comments I heard from the Cleveland insiders and from the 11 Warriors insiders, there wasn't a lot of confidence displayed in their comments. They each said one person did one good thing, and there are a lot of like the comments we saw last year about the battle between Kyle and Devin, and I was like, "Mm, we might be in this thing again, bro." And we have so much talent.
Yeah. I mean, it would just be a big disappointment. I mean, this year is I'm gonna say again, this year
Right.
is really critical. Got the most
For
talent
Ryan Day.
coming back since that 2000. This is like the 2019 season, but I think it's gonna be better because there's
Okay,
about there's
buddy.
two cornerbacks out there who are just as talented as Jeff Okuda. Great
Sure.
secondary.
Yeah.
Is not going to give up second season in a row where it's not going to give up a pass longer than 20 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the whole defensive line coming back besides Mike Hall. I mean, we got Caleb Downs. We got well, no, not C.J. Hicks, but Sonny Styles at linebacker, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just it's talent all around the boards. I mean, you have Trayvon Henderson, offense side of the ball, Junkins, possibly the
Yeah.
best backfield in college football, depending on how yeah, Brand said to you. Chip Kelly. Depending on Chip Kelly's philosophy and what type of plays he calls, it could either be uphill or it could just be downhill.
The Chip Kelly hire was an interesting one because it was signifying this is the man that I trust because he didn't trust Brian Hartline last year. He called the plays in the clutch situations, and he's taken the responsibility of the play calling out of his own hands, which a lot of Buckeye Nation desperately wanted him to do. And he's giving that trust over to Chip Kelly. Probably the only man he would trust doing that in general.
Yeah,
So it's an interesting hire, man. It's an interesting hire, but
definitely.
I think it'll bode well for us because with the running backs that we we have the ability to establish a ground game and and continue on forward.
All
Don't
right.
give that guy a shout out.
What's up, Rand dude? You want to shout out? Here it is. What's up, man? All right. Next, you ready to move on to next
Reggie.
topic?
Yeah,
All
Reggie.
right. I made a video about this earlier, but I'm ready to discuss it again.
Yeah.
Buckeye
Oh, you
Nation,
did. Nice.
Buckeye Nation. It is time to move on from Signgate. All right.
For sure.
I don't want to hear anything more about the hammer dropping on Michigan. I don't want anything more about, asking the NCAA to, give us a win against Michigan. It is time to go out on the field and reclaim the rivalry.
Yeah.
Lost 3 years in a row. Stop looking towards the NCAA to, you know,
To
save
come
us.
save us.
Yeah, to come save us. Start
Save
looking
yourself.
towards Ryan Day. He's the coach. He's the commander in chief. All right? He's the
Yeah.
coach. He's the commander in chief. He has to rally the troops to get it done in Columbus this year. Or else I want him gone. There's no excuse. 13 million NIL, one of the most talented teams since 2019. There's no excuse this year. Michigan has a brand new staff, brand new head coach, pretty much a
Hmm.
brand new team.
There's no excuse to lose to them. It's in Columbus. And we have by far the superior talent. There's no excuses this year. You cannot lose that game to them. You can lose to Oregon. That would suck. But that's an away game against a very uber, maybe equally talented team. But you cannot lose and drop a fourth straight to the Wolverines. You cannot do it. You can't do
No.
it, man.
I mean, unless you want to go home and find either people in your yard with pitchforks and
Sure.
or
That would happen.
see for sale signs in your yard. But seriously, like there's literally no excuse this year. It can't happen. It's time to reclaim the rivalry and get
Take back
this
what's
thing
yours.
going again. Cause I mean, shoot. But yeah, I'm just getting tired of going on 11 Warriors
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
from what I hear from Michigan fans is the Buckeye Scoop talks about this
Good Lord.
tremendously,
I
and
know. I don't follow them.
it's just it's getting out of hand. The NCAA clearly said, and I quote, even after the sign stealing was exposed, they just kept on winning. They just kept on winning. They did what they needed to do. Dominant run, like they ran every single play against Penn State, and Penn State had no answer. They beat Maryland. They beat Ohio State fair and square in the big house. As much as I hated to watch that, we
Mm-hmm.
all know it was Kyle McCord's fault. But
37 yards
no, but
away.
not trying to go down the rabbit hole. They won the Big Ten championship handily against Iowa. They Kudos to them. They beat Bama. They beat Bama. It was Nick Saban's final game, and then they had one of the most dominant performances in the national championship on the defensive ball. And I saw a stat that they had a better rushing outing than Ohio State in 2014 national championship season. So the
Mhm.
sentiment of you
Wow.
know let's see the hammer drop, when's the NCAA gonna show up? I just think it's time to move on.
Yeah.
I
No,
Go on.
I'm in full agreement with you. I mean, you have to take responsibility for your losses. I'm not one to make excuses about the last 3 years. You're not one to make excuses, Rob. We don't accept oh, it was snowing, oh, it was windy, oh, it was rainy. Bro, you have the superior talent.
Let,
Win the game.
let me talk about the last 3 years, man. 2021, they ran over us. They pushed Ohio State all around the field. I mean, Hassan Hashkins had 5 touchdowns. It was embarrassing to watch.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
2021, I mean, no, 2022, wide open plays. The secondary was a disgrace. J.K.
Mm-hmm.
Johnson, Cam Martinez, thank God they're gone. I mean, I'm pretty sure all Columbus was cheering. Oh yeah, did you see? Did you see that Cam Martinez didn't even get on the bus for the Michigan game, and all of Buckeye Nation was so happy? Like
Did see
that
that. Yeah.
secondary was terrible in
For you guys, it was.
2022. I mean, people want to be like, "Oh, C.J. Stroud lost against Michigan." No, the defense did, and it even showed in the national in the semifinal against Georgia. I mean, over 600 yards of offense, so
Hmm.
many of the big plays. It
And
was
not good enough
terrible.
defense. Not good enough defense. Yeah.
In 2023, Ryan Day just he got in the shell and just didn't have that killer instinct in that game. I mean,
Sure.
you drove the ball down. You have a good amount of clock left before halftime, and you get scared and you settle for a field goal. That's the difference. You know, Either shrinking or rising to the occasion in the
Sure.
big games. That just gave the reasons why 3 years they lost. I don't want to hear
Yep.
about anything about sign gate anymore. I just don't.
Reason, not excuses. Michigan dominating aspects of the game. Yeah, 100%. Um, yeah, it's crazy, man. 2024, there's no excuses left because their entire staff is gone. Most of their team is gone. There's no reason to be losing Michigan 2024 when you're in Columbus. But to your point about him shrinking in the moments, man, I feel like maybe that's kind of who he is a little bit. You know?
I hope not. I really do, or else he's gone. Oh yeah,
Right.
another thing. So the sign gate thing.
Okay.
Here's another reason why they got to move on. So
What's up?
looking back at Tattoo Gate, I'm sure Michigan fans were pleased with what happened with Ohio State Trust that got fired. They're put on probation, scholarship reductions, postseason ban. But that only held them over for a while. Losing 8 years in a row
Mm-hmm.
losing 8 years in a row made them completely forget about Signgate, and they were miserable again. Because you know what matters? Wins on the field,
On the field.
definitely. So I guarantee you, if let's say some reason the hammer does drop, and they're still losing on the field, Ohio State fans will still be miserable. Trust me.
Yeah. 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 We could be yeah,
So,
yeah.
Pickle Dill Boys, the tattoo gate was some players under Tressel, they sold their memorabilia that they got over the seasons, from bowl games, Big Ten championships. I think some even sold their gold pants that they got in the Michigan game, and they basically sold it so they can go get tattoos. I mean, you the NIL wasn't back then. and
Hmm.
so obviously it's an NCAA infraction, and not and um, to top it off, Jim Tressel lied to NCAA investigators.
Right.
And now that you asked that on this
Yeah.
topic,
It's a good transition.
yeah, great transition. Thank you, Pickle Dill Boys. I don't think they're gonna get their wins back. I mean, people say like, "Oh, Reggie Bush just got his Heisman back." Here's why they're not gonna get their wins back, and here's the difference.
Hmm.
So I don't think anybody lied to investigators about, the transactions between Reggie Bush's family and USC. It was just nobody lied or anything. But if it wasn't for Jim Tressel lying to NCAA investigators, you just have players selling their memorabilia for tattoos because they're trying to get, it's off their name, image, and likeness. And then so therefore they'd have a better chance to get their wins reinstated. But since as much as I love Jim Tressel, he's my all-time favorite Buckeyes coach. That's pretty much my childhood right there.
Yeah,
But
buddy.
since he lied, he misled investigators. I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't.
You saw yesterday all over social media that that's what the Buckeye fan accounts were claiming for, and I saw it on 11 Warriors too. Man, they're claiming for that and clamoring for that. I'm like, dude, that's not gonna happen, bro. The NCAA does not reinstate wins. They just do not do it. And to your point, that's the reason why. Um, yeah, I want to make a video on this. I'm not sure I will. I know I've seen a lot of videos on this already, but
Wait,
Reggie getting his
didn't
Heisman back.
didn't uh didn't they get their national championship vacated as well?
No, that we won in '02, and that wasn't
No,
vacated.
I'm talking about I'm because you brought up the NCAA just does not
Oh,
reinstate wins. Didn't
USC.
USC get their national championship vacated?
They
Yep,
got one of them vacated. Yeah, they did.
yep, they
Yeah.
did. And you know what? They're not going to get it back. They'll give Reggie Bush's Heisman back, but like you said, they don't reinstate wins.
Well, and here's the thing: Louisville versus Michigan in the 2013 national championship, the NCAA recognizes that as no champion won that year because Louisville cheated. I forget what their scandal was,
Man,
but they
their
literally that
scan
year
their scandal was wild, dude. It was
didn't
pretty
it cause like
much
hookers
like
and stuff.
this big prostitution ring for recruits. Pretty much person under, Rick Pitino, I think it was some personnel. They were getting prostitutes for these recruits who were
Thought it
visiting.
was something about
Not
prostitutes.
trying you guys not trying to get, explicit on here, but I'm just saying that how it is. That's what happened. But anyways,
Right. Good memory,
but
dude.
yeah, definitely. But anyways, go on with what you're saying.
Yeah, man. Reggie getting his Heisman back. I must admit, I'm conflicted on this. I'd love to hear your take after I give mine, but I must admit I'm conflicted because those were the rules at the time. He he got $480,000 in a house, like just to come to USC. Now some argue, well, that didn't affect his play on the field. No, he was clearly one of the best players on the field. But he probably wouldn't have been at USC if he didn't get nearly $500,000 in a house for his mom. So that's a big deal to me. Some people overlook it because NIL is a thing now. I'm a little bit like I'm happy he got his Heisman back because he was clearly the best player on the field. But he obviously clearly broke the rules. Those were the rules at the time, and you can't just counterintuitively be like, "Well, it's all right now." I don't know. That's my opinion. That's kind of my take. What do you think, Rob?
Here's the thing, man. The NCAA is $1 billion plus a year
Yeah,
industry.
they
And you know
do.
how they're making their money? You know how they're making their money?
Yeah.
Off these athletes who are working day in and day out for greatness to make it to the
They do.
league, to make their money, to help out their families. And you know
Hmm.
what? I never really saw a problem with these
Paying
talented
under the table.
athletes making a little money on the side, signing
Sure.
autographs, selling their memorabilia,
Sure.
just being able to help out their
So,
families.
I feel
So
like I feel like stuff that they earned on the field and they were definitely exploited for sure. Like there's no question they were exploited beforehand. We're on a very slippery slope. We're in the wild, wild west for NIL right now, and I feel like we're approaching some things that make me shake my head, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm glad they're finally getting paid because they were exploited for a very long time. But we are in an era that it's gone too far already in just 3 years' time, and there needs to be some kind of governing body over it. Um, Carson Beck got out here in a Lambo, no doubt. Maserati Marv. That's why he was called
Dude,
Maserati
that's
Marv.
crazy, man.
It's just the things that are going on right now, and I don't think they should be getting millions either. They
Oh,
should be compensated,
it it's
and
like a professional league right now.
because well, to your point, Rob, it was the TV execs getting all the money. It was the coaches getting all the money, and TV in general getting all the money, and the players getting nothing. Um, and to me, that wasn't right. But to get millions and millions and millions, I'm not cool. I'm not down with that.
Yeah, maybe they should have a cap, like so
Right,
and so teams can only spend this much in the off season.
right. I've seen some comments basically on various sites that I go to saying there should be some kind of revenue sharing for the players where payers equal pay, like almost like employers, you know, like NFL light. Because there needs to be some kind of regulation. Am I wrong? I mean, tack on, dude. To have these players walk, getting these things and cars and trinkets that they're getting and the payments it's pretty wild to see it happen. Um, and it's affecting my fanhood a little bit. I must admit, with the portal more so than the NIL. With the free range, you see so many guys in the portal this season. It makes me sick, dude. A record number every year in the portal. Right. Okay, Rand City. That's a fair point. That's a good point. Um, I admit my thoughts on this had changed. Initially, when NIL was announced and became a thing, I was vehemently against it. Vehemently. Um, I thought room and board, tuition, degree was enough. But the more and more I thought about it, and more I thought how exploited they are, um, it's a wild thing that's been going on for about 20, 25 years. Once money entered the sport in the BCS era in 1998.
They got all that oil money.
Yeah,
That's
buddy.
funny. Yeah,
True. Hey,
but
facts.
here's the thing though. The only reason, and this is my problem with NIL,
Hmm.
teams who have no business getting a bundle of five-star players, and the worst offender of them all is the Miami Hurricanes. That's
Sure.
the only reason why people have a problem with NIL. You have teams out here who are so undeserving of these players. All they're doing is throwing the bag. There's no resume that even remotely points that they deserve to get these players or they should be getting these players. So that's why NIL is kind of annoying to me. And the fact that recruiting means nothing. I mean, you're
Nothing.
going out there, you're throwing the bag at someone, you're you're working hard to get these players. Before you know it, they're going to another team who's throwing the bigger bag. It's all about who's ready to take out the checkbook and how many zeros and commas can you put on there.
Two things on that point. For example, today, two true freshmen at Michigan jumped in the portal. Um, and my second point, smaller schools can't throw the bag. So the divide between the haves and the have nots is getting even bigger by the day. And we're headed towards super conferences. Just yesterday I shared an article with you guys in the group chat about how the group of 5 teams are looking to form their own playoff format. I'd love to make a video on that too and explain that in further detail, and I probably should. Um, but I think we're on a fast bullet train towards super conferences and two different playoff formats. Uh, but the sport is it's getting wild right now, Rob. And honestly, I must admit it is ruining a little bit of my fanhood and my fandom.
It's like the wild wild west out there, man. There's no regulations. Every man for themselves. It's who can throw the bigger bag.
Yeah.
Development doesn't mean much anymore. Winning doesn't mean much anymore.
hmm Well, to your point about the recruiting, bro, you what's the point of following recruiting out of high school anymore? 2/3 of your roster is going to be gone by the time they see the field of the recruiting class. You know, it's kind of ridiculous. Like so, I had dialed it way back the last 15 years following recruiting, but I don't think I'm going to follow recruiting at all. I'll read the updates on 11 Warriors when that day comes. But
I
what's
mean,
the point in following it?
the only reason why I would follow recruiting because I want to know that these position coaches are pulling their weight. That's why.
Okay. Okay. Now that's a valid point. I like that. Can they actually get the guys in there?
And you know what? If it so happens that it got beat out by NIL, I can look past that. Okay, this position coach was able to reel this player in, get him to commit, but okay, somebody threw a bigger bag. So be it. But I want to know if these position coaches are pulling their weight.
Okay. That makes sense to me. I can get behind that, man. I really can. Um man, it's one last thing we want to talk about before we jump off, man. And we only got a couple of minutes. I don't know if you can help me out on this if you want to go Coach Prime for a couple of minutes or if you want to go Champ and Chum and close it out.
We can do both, man. We can
Okay.
briefly touch on both. All right.
Okay. So, Coach Prime, man, what do you think? I mean, we just had a running back, Dallin Hayden, go to Colorado. I made a video early on that in the week, and they've had over 20 guys in the portal. Just share some thoughts on Coach Prime and what he is and what he isn't.
Not gonna lie, I bought in a little bit of the hype
Okay.
last
Yeah, I
season.
remember.
We watched that TCU game.
We sure
Like,
did.
oh, maybe Coach Prime's for real. And then as the season went on, and they got absolutely blitzed by Oregon. And
Yep.
Dan Lanning called it for what it was at
Yeah.
Colorado, and then he basically spoke it into existence. That's just all talk. It's smoke and mirrors. There's
Yeah.
nothing special going on with a Colorado football team. Coach Prime, he's basically a salesman right now. He's a used car salesman. Like, I
Sure.
mean, he he's getting all this hype based off who he is, his personality. I mean, he's a great salesman.
He knows how to create the pitch. And they got brand new facilities out there. I've seen the touring video. He is so entertaining, but don't think he's a great college
I
football
mean,
coach.
he got his own Amazon Prime series. But here's the thing, though. I
Yep.
think that this is just giving too many distractions. You're giving this your root like this just this awful culture at Colorado. I mean, you have all these seems like you have these prima donnas
Sure.
at Colorado. I mean, 20 players in the transfer portal. Either they don't want to work hard for Coach Prime, or Coach Prime and his philosophy, his culture made them extremely entitled. And now they think they can go somewhere and just do it better, get more money.
Right. Well, he's very good. He's very charismatic. He's very good at convincing players they're better than they are. To Pickle Boy's point, um, he is good at those things, and so he can lure those players in. But once they see what's actually going on inside the program, I don't know if there's much substance there, to be honest.
No, I mean
Dan
like
Lanning hit it on the head.
he started off pretty strong, but then like when they play Colorado State, I'm like, how is this team hanging? Like how what division is Colorado State in?
I mean, they're Division One, but
I
they're
meant
in the
like
Mountain
what
West.
I'm sorry, what conference?
Yeah, Mountain West, Mountain West.
Yeah. But I'm just like they got no business hanging with this school.
Right,
And then
right.
like they got
The
beat
the
they
wheels
got
fell
just
off.
completely waxed by Oregon
Yeah, they did.
again.
Shut out, if I remember.
And then after the game, after the game, he's just like, "You guys better get us now because we're coming." Dude, you said you were coming at the beginning of the season. What happened? I'll tell
Yeah.
you what happened. In an overinflated stock that finally crashed. That's what happened.
Went from 3-0 to 4-8, bro. That's a mighty fall.
Yeah,
That's a
def-
mighty, mighty fall.
definitely.
Um,
I don't
I
think
think
this. Go on.
I think they have a cap of 6 wins this year, I'd say. You know, they're hard to look at because of so much influx on the roster. They're hard to gauge because you just don't know what the talent coming in and going out is going to produce. But yeah, I see improvement, but I don't see them improving to be contending for anything serious.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I think there's too many distractions. Name, name a college football team that got their own series on Amazon Prime. I think
Right.
Coach Prime is the first one. What I mean, actually, wait, no, there was. Remember that Michigan football
I remember that.
we
Yeah,
we we watching there. Never mind, I was wrong. But then again, wait, it was because it was Coach Harbaugh.
was
So
also quite the
yeah,
salesman, although
yeah,
not as
also
not
quite the
maybe not
salesman.
slimy,
But
but
he actually sold on his promise.
well, he had a track record too coming in. So,
Yeah, he did.
um,
He did.
but yeah, man. Last thing of the week, I know we want to jump off and watch a little bit of the draft before we go to sleep, but yeah, champ and chum of the week, man. Who you got for champ and who you got for chump?
Man, let's see. My chump of the week. We just talked about it. I'd have to say Colorado. They're
Oh, just ragging on the program.
Colorado, man. 20 players in the transfer portal. I mean, even their coveted five-star cornerback recruit from Miami. What was his name? What's his name?
Cormani McClain, I think.
Yeah, I mean he gave Colorado a bad rap just walking out the
Whew,
door.
he sure did,
So
bro.
that's why Colorado's the Trump of the week. I think that it was over before it began. Just too many distractions, too many
Mhm.
prima donnas. It's not gonna work.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Okay.
Yeah. And my champ of the week, it just happened in the NFL draft. I would have to say Michael Penix Jr. I
Ooh,
mean,
interesting. How so?
because he was supposed to be like lower. I was
Okay.
expecting him to go lower first round,
Oh yeah,
possibly high second round. But his story is just amazing. I mean,
I
he
love this
balled
story,
out
dude.
for Indiana, had a couple injuries, transferred to Washington, became a Heisman finalist, played in the national championship game, and now he's not only is he living out his dream, but he got drafted higher than he was supposed to be. So
Yeah,
that's why he's champ of the week.
he does have a great story, man, and I was really happy for him with all this success he found out in Washington and as in a Husky uniform, and for him to get drafted by Atlanta, that's quite shocking, though I must admit, because they paid all that money to Kirk Cousins. Um, there must I'm not sure what they're doing with that, to be honest, because you don't pay somebody $200 million to go sit on the bench. And then maybe they're gonna say Penix, although you're 24, we're gonna draft you at 8 and put you behind Kirk Cousins and learn from him. Maybe they're gonna do that. I don't. Does that sound stupid? I don't know.
No, I mean, look again. I'm going to back what I said at the beginning of the show. Look at what happened to Jordan Love when he said all those years under Aaron Rodgers. He filled the position right away, and the Packers hadn't haven't missed a beat. So
Yeah. It's the best way to have success in the NFL, if you ask me. The Packers did it right with Rodgers and Love, and other. I've seen other examples of it as well. I'm blanking on them right now, but throwing a young quarterback to the wolves rarely works out. That's just been proven throughout time. So it'll be interesting to see how things go for Penix and for college football in general. But That's gonna do it today for Buckeyes Battle Cry on the
Wait
live.
a second. I like Odyssey's 2002 comment. Coach Prima just replaced the E with an A.
That's good, bro.
That's great,
I missed
man.
that comment. That's good.
Kudos. That was good. But all right, you guys. Well, thank you for joining us. We go live every Thursday night at 9:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Click like, subscribe. We also have our TikTok channels. Mine is Buckeye Rob 13. What is yours, Peter?
It's Buckeyes Battle Cry. It's the same as the YouTube channel. So
All right.
yeah,
Sounds.
appreciate you guys joining in tonight. We'll sign off for tonight. You guys have a good Thursday night. Enjoy the rest of the draft. We'll take it easy. Thanks again, Rob. You have a good night, brother.
Yep.
We'll
You
catch
too,
you
brother.
later.
Later.
Thank you.
Yep.
Bye.